everyone, it's Kerchi, and today I will be building this beautiful cozy beach house in Disney Dreamlight Valley. My inspiration for this beach house is basically the type of house that I want to live in someday. I already kind of live by the beach, so I'm very fortunate, although not right at the beach. And I probably don't want to live right at the beach anyway because it gets really busy with all the tourists and everything. So I'm just going to live vicariously through this game. And right now I'm looking for a floor and wallpaper combo that's realistically beachy, but not too beachy that it's tacky. And I'm thinking of a light wooden floor, and there's a couple options, although I'm not too sure. That's why I'm experimenting with different combinations. And I was thinking of maybe an accent wall. I do love this wavy wallpaper that I found. I actually don't even remember getting that at Scrooge, so I got really lucky there. For the furniture, this is a technique that I always do in my builds where I pretty much find everything related to whatever look I'm going for and I'm just putting it all down. I'm not trying to organize anything right now. This part is very low pressure. I just get to go through my entire catalog of furniture that I've collected from gaming, buying furniture. And this is one of my favorite parts because it's like I'm going shopping. And look at this manta ray that I found that is so pretty. That is from the latest Star Path. And we also get this Finding Nemo fish tank from the Star Path, this blue fireplace as well, and lots of other elemental themed furniture from the Star Path because they are promoting the release of the new Pixar movie Elemental. Honestly, I've heard nothing really about that movie other than the few ads that I get on TikTok. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be good though, because the ad that I saw kind of started with the main character saying something like, "I'm just a normal teenage girl," or something like that. And whenever movies start like that, I already know they're going to be basic. But anyway, they have blessed us with all this elemental furniture in the latest Star Path, so I'm using several of those in this build. And right now, I am basically looking for anything that's blue, or even has a hint of blue, even if it's not beachy. And we also have a few Little Mermaid furniture, but I'm trying not to use them, or at least overuse them, because the Little Mermaid furniture is more fantasy themed, and I don't really want to do that here. I also want to separate each room. I want to have a living room, a bedroom, a kitchen, and a dining room, and maybe a bathroom, but I don't think there's space for it. I wish that we had more walls within a room so that I can separate each section. There are a few items here we can use to separate the sections, so let's see if I can pull that off. At this point, I just remembered that I had the RV set from the premium shop, and that was actually my initial inspiration for this build, so I can't believe I forgot all about it. I had to go get it from another room because I had them all laid out there when I showcased this. And so here they are. I love the white and blue combo. I think it's very beachy. My current house that I live in right now is actually inspired by beach aesthetics like this. So a lot of things in my house are light blue and white. It's not too decorated because I'm actually very lazy to decorate in real life. That's why I decorate so much in video games, because I could never do this in real life. It's too expensive, too much work. There's contractors involved. Plus, buying furniture as a whole is just super annoying. And you have to wait months and months for the furniture to arrive. So I would love my actual house to look like this, but maybe a few years from now, who knows? All I know is being landlocked would drive me crazy, so I either need to be by the beach or by a lake, or on a lake. So here is the living room setup. I'm trying to figure out a way to separate the bedroom from the living room, and I'm creating these blockades. Luckily, this fish tank actually works as a really nice blockade, and the rest is just trying to figure out where all the pieces fit. A lot of the stuff I laid out here I'm not going to end up using, but it just gives me a good basis for what look I want to go for. Once again, I'm trying out different wallpaper and flooring combos because I just want to make sure that I have the right one, especially once I have the furniture laid out. Sometimes the furniture helps guide what flooring and wallpaper that I want. Although I love the beach, I actually kind of don't like being at the beach. We're actually thinking about the next place we want to move to, and we've played around with different states, different cities, but at the end of the day, we want to be near the beach, even though we hardly ever go to the beach. And that's because I am just not an outdoors person. I do love the sound of the ocean and the breeze in my face, but you go to the beach and it's just so crowded. It's full of people, and there are people who come from out of town who leave trash everywhere. So our beach is actually not as nice as it used to be years ago. I don't understand people who vacation in another city and leave a bunch of trash there. But it is what it is, and it took the fun out of going to the beach. And it's hard to even take pictures of the beautiful landscapes and things like that because there are just people everywhere. Of course, now Photoshop has released this AI that removes people, and it works phenomenally. So I'm gonna have to try that next time I go to the beach. Somehow, since the pandemic, it's actually been a lot more crowded. It's like everyone multiplied times 10. We were in line to go to Korean barbecue a couple weeks ago, and this large group of teenagers all arrived at the same time, and they said their party was, I think it was 24 or 27 or something like that. It was huge. And they swarmed me. They surrounded me, they were breathing on me, and I had to get out of there. I'm actually a total germaphobe. I have this weird thing about sharing drinks, sharing anything, mouth to mouth, anything. I don't like any of that stuff. So pandemic or not a fan of crowds. Anyway, back to the build. So I decided to take these little picture frames and turn it into a backsplash for the kitchen. There is a little bit of clipping, but I don't mind it too much because I actually really like how this looks. I'm about halfway through and I'm realizing that this doesn't really look too beachy for me, and I'm wondering what I am missing. And then I realized it's the giant windows. So I found these windows because this game has pretty much every piece of furniture you could think of, and I thought it looked really nice. I think this is the exact look I'm going for. So my plan is to line the walls with these windows, or at least line the corners with the windows. So each section is going to have these giant windows, and the light is coming through so beautifully, although you can see peaceful meadow through the windows. So I'm going to have to move my house to Dazzle Beach so we get a nice view of the beach. And I'm turning this living room into an even cozier spot, so I'm moving everything closer to the windows. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a place like this, where you can literally see the entire ocean right from your living room? How I wish that I would win the lottery one day, so that I can definitely spend it on very lavish things that I don't need. I'm moving the kitchen to the other side so that I can add more windows on this side, and this side will basically be the dining room. Windows have made a drastic difference, and it already looks more like a beach house. And now I'm just looking for all the places where these tiny little furniture pieces can fit. And the windows in the bedroom look even better. Look at that light coming in. It just looks so peaceful. I'm actually really impressed with the amount of customizability in this game. Is that even a word, customizability? But anyway, at this point in the game, it's been out for about 10-ish months. So almost a year, and look at all the stuff they added. It is just amazing. The downside is a lot of these you're going to have to purchase with real money or do the star path, and a lot of people aren't happy with that because of the prices. And someone actually did a comparison of what it costs to buy a Sims expansion pack versus a skin in this game. And a Sims expansion pack is significantly cheaper, but the thing that you're paying for here is the Disney IP. Little Mermaid themed furniture, Moana themed furniture, Toy Story themed furniture. All of these things are part of the Disney IP, which does have a lot of brand power. People love things that are themed around Disney. I know I'm a complete sucker for things like that. I am definitely their target demographic. I am now building the dining room, and I'm trying to look for a table that fits best, and eventually came to this table, which is part of the RV set once again. And as I'm trying to look for chairs here, I already know that I'm not gonna find the chairs that I have in my head. So I think we're gonna have to jump into Touch of Magic furniture creation mode and make some custom chairs. A new feature that they added since the update is Touch of Magic Furniture Mode, which allows you to design your own furniture. So here I am making my own custom beach-themed chair, and I don't really know what I want, but I first saw Dory and I thought, why not try her? But then she looks a little too cartoonish, so I think I'm gonna go with something a little more abstract, like this Little Mermaid splash of water. And this is actually really fun. This is my first time designing furniture, and you can adjust the textures, the reflections. Like for instance, here I'm doing a wooden texture because it's gonna be wooden chairs. And that looks so much better. That looks so cute. You can go back and edit it and adjust it accordingly. And now I am going to make the bed, which is going to look just like the chairs because I do want cohesion. I want them to match. And I am taking that big splash, that big wave once again, and I'm going to use that as the main design of this bed. It is a little bit clunky though. I wouldn't say it's as smooth as the Touch of Magic for clothes because you can see the angles are really weird. I wish I could zoom all the way out and see the entire bed, but you can only zoom out so far. And for some reason, it put it in this corner of the room instead of right in the middle of the room where I initially opened up the Touch of Magic feature, but it somehow magnetizes it to this corner of the room. So I'm over here in this little tiny corner trying to see the best angles of this bed as I can. I've already seen people make the most beautiful pieces of furniture with this feature, but once again, I am begging Gameloft to, number one, remove the layer limit in Touch of Magic, and number two, please fix Touch of Magic for clothes because my custom clothes are still messed up and I'm so sad because you guys know how much I love designing custom clothes in this game and I haven't done so in months, what seems like months, because my clothes are messed up. Now I am putting the chairs down and they look so beautiful. I love it. Definitely embodies the beach theme. And here is the bed. I'm not too convinced with it. It looks a little maybe tacky. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it. I think it might be the white wood because I don't know, white wood just looks a little bit cheap. So I'm re-entering furniture mode and I'm just making some modifications to make it look a little bit less blue, I guess. And I'm going back to the chairs and I am changing that wood color to brown so that it matches the table and it matches the other wooden textures that I have in my house. And there you go. Now they're cohesive. And now I'm going to design a beachy rug. I'm not doing anything too fancy here. I'm basically just taking some leaf motifs and I'm going to do just kind of a Lilo and Stitchy pattern, but make it blue. So this one is real simple. And again, this is what I'm talking about with the weird angles. I wish I could zoom all the way out so I can just see the entirety of this rug from a bird's eye view, kind of like painting on canvas. But I don't understand why they force the perspective into these really awkward angles and then it zooms it all the way in. So this is a brand new feature and I know they're going to make improvements. One thing that keeps me playing this game, aside from the fact that I'm obsessed with it and it's my whole new personality, is the fact that Gameloft does listen to the players and they do fix a lot of bugs. And by the way, they increased the furniture item limit to 6,000 for those who play on powerful devices. I play on PC, so naturally I went into my settings and increased that furniture limit to 6,000. And now let's try this out. It looks amazing. I love it. And I think it belongs in the kitchen and it acts as a really good separator for each of the rooms. One thing I'm trying to avoid is I don't want this to look like a Hawaiian themed Lilo and Stitch house, a nautical pirate house, or an underwater Little Mermaid house, because those are completely different separate beachy themes. And those will be separate builds. I think I definitely want to do some builds that are centered around specific Disney characters. For this build, I'm making sure not to add any of those other elements. I'm also really practicing color theory here, which is pretty difficult, probably one of the most difficult things in the design field, because I want everything to be blue, but I don't want it to be so blue that it's just tacky blue everywhere. I'm also using a lot of browns here, which is a color that surprisingly goes well with blue, and it gives it a very organic beachy feel. And the rest of this build is basically filling up all the empty spaces with more decor, more food, till I'm happy with it. Now it is time for a tour of my beach house. Starting off in the kitchen, I did use the RV furniture for this. The RV furniture set is from the premium shop, and from the moment I saw it, I already knew I wanted to do some kind of beachy themed house with it. Even though it is for technically an RV aesthetic, this is an example of how you can apply different furniture to different styles, whatever it is that you want to do, even if the furniture does say RV. There's my backsplash with the starfish and the seashell. In the preview mode, when you're looking at this, they're actually switched. The seashell is supposed to be on top and the starfish is supposed to be on the bottom. I kind of wish that we could alternate them so that they don't look too uniform. You guys know by now, I really don't like uniformity in a lot of my builds because they look too fake, and I'm trying to go for a more realistic look. But I do like the way it turned out. I especially love the blue wave wallpaper. That was a really lucky find at Scrooge's shop, so I love that I was able to apply that all throughout this house. So here's my little bar area. Again, I don't like how these stools look too uniform, but I was trying out two at first, and then I was trying out where one might be pushed out a little bit, but it just looked really awkward. And one of my biggest wishes for this game is for them to have smaller grids so that we can place things more accurately and align things better. So the stuff on the counter here, this red cooler already came with it, but I wanted to add this old TV and this camera with the little popsicle back there because I was kind of picturing someone who lives a simple life. I know that's kind of contrary to what a beach house should be because beach houses are really expensive. This is supposed to be like, hey, even though I make a lot of money and I live on the beach, I can still appreciate an old vintage TV with only 2 channels. And then back here, I reused this princess shelf. This was also from the very first premium shop, and I liked it because it does have blue elements on it, and it also has this long oar, which is very beachy. So pretty much whatever I could find that had hints of blue or anything beach themed, I wanted to add it to this house. And over here, I just wanted to fill up some empty space by adding these flowers that are also blue. And I've used this wall decor multiple times. I just really love it. It's really pretty. And then heading over to my dining area, I wanted to look like there was a party here recently. Maybe I've had some friends over. So some of the chairs are rotated and it just gives it a very lived in feel. And of course, we're eating tons of seafood and beach themed food. So we got some coconut drinks, fish tacos, lobster, shrimp, fish and chips, all kinds of good stuff. I also really love the way these chairs turned out. I wanted to give them an ocean design without being too literal with it. So I used that Little Mermaid splash motif to give it this wavy pattern. And each chair is different. Speaking of design furniture, I really love my rug. I think it turned out so cute. It looks like a rug I could actually find at the store. I do wish that that fuzzy texture was applied to the motifs. You can see that the motifs are smooth, but the rug itself has the fuzzy texture. And then we head over to the living room. We do have a lot of Little Mermaid furniture in the game, such as these table and chair, but I didn't want to go too overboard because the Little Mermaid furniture is more fantasy themed and I wanted to go for a realistic beach house. I wanted to use more organic furniture like this weathered wood, this nautical bookcase, which is actually Prince Eric's, but it fit here really well. But at the same time, because I wanted to add a girly feel to it, I added the Little Mermaid pieces. Why do I roll my eyes like that when I sit? And it only happens on certain furniture pieces. Oh my gosh, I look like I don't want to be here. And here is the RV couch, which I can't sit in for some reason. I don't know if the position may be bugging it out a bit, but this is from the RV set and it just screams beachy to me. I really love the wave designs on it. Whether it's intended to be beachy or not, it just fits. And in the background, I have my giant Finding Nemo fish tank, which looks amazing. This is such a picturesque moment, and I love the bubbly sounds that it makes too. And then on the side here, I wanted to add these kelp plants because they absolutely fit the theme of beach house and they also look a little bit fancy. And on this table, I just wanted to add a couple more sea things. This succulent over here has a little bit of blue to it, so I added that. And this tiny steamboat, which is again from the premium shop. Or was it from the Star Path? I don't remember. I think it was the Star Path. And this is my favorite up there, the little manta rays. They're so beautiful. I actually completely forgot that I got that. I believe that is from the newest Star Path and it is just gorgeous. It's probably one of my favorite furniture pieces in the game, and that is something I would absolutely display in my house. Then we get to this giant fireplace, which is really cool because the fire is blue and we can turn that off and on. And this giant trunk here, I did want to give this an organic feel still, like we are living in nature, even though the inside is a little bit fancy. We're still in the middle of a beach, so I wanted to add something nature-like to this build. And I have my cozy tiny bedroom on this side. And the bed, again, I mean, I don't love it too much, but I did want to match the rug and the dining chairs. Now that I look at it, I'm not sure I like that super fuzzy texture I added to it, but that's okay. We can just pretend it's really fluffy or something. It does get really cold at the beach at night, so there you go. And another view of the gorgeous fish tank. This just looks so beautiful and we can see right through it into the living room. And just a couple more blue furniture pieces over here. This is the Toy Story lamp. Let me turn that on. A fancy side table with flowers and just a touch of realism here. I added a basket of laundry. I still want it to look like someone actually lives here. And then back here, I actually added this coral clothes rack or whatever it's called. And just a cute little guitar here because guitars are somehow synonymous with beaches. And all around, I added these tall windows because I wanted to be able to look outside and see the beach. So I actually moved my house to Dazzle Beach because it does change your view through the windows. So here we can see palm trees, the rest of Dazzle Beach. But funny enough, it doesn't change it to whatever you decorated Dazzle Beach to be. It just shows the default Dazzle Beach when you start the game. So here you can see that structure back there, which I don't even remember what that was. I think that was Goofy's stall in the beginning. And then on this side, we can still see the old pillar with a darkness coming out of it. I've already solved that mystery. We're done with that. But yeah, that was just an interesting thing I discovered since moving my house to Dazzle Beach. But as far as the rest of it, it embodies the whole beach aesthetic. And I did see in the preview that Gameloft announced on their social media that we're gonna have a beach house skin for our home. So when that comes around, I think I'm going to use that and permanently live in Dazzle Beach. I'm not sure yet because I really love the Princess Castle, but building this definitely inspired me. Overall, this is one of my favorite builds so far because it does look more realistic. Like someone could actually live here. And this is also kind of my dream beach house. I think this would be really cool to live in, like a cute little vacation home. And that was my cute little cozy beach house. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. It's good to finally try Touch of Magic furniture mode. Although it is a little bit clunky, there's still some really cool things we can make with it, like the pieces of furniture I was able to design in this build. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for more of my Disney Dreamlight Valley designs.